can you tell us a bit about Gabby's recovery, where he is?
So he's in return to train. Little by little, we're trying to get him back as soon as possible, but also in a way that we don't want to risk any setbacks. So we're very happy on where he's at, and we're going to continue to manage him in order to get him back as soon as we can.
Some of the other guys, Ericsson, Mo, Emmy, where are they in the process?
They're also on the final stretch. So hopefully in the next few days, we're going to see them in return to play with the rest of the group. They've been training, but they've been doing stuff separately.
Because I've been waiting for Emmy for a while. Did he suffer some setbacks?
I've been waiting for Emmy as well. Emmy's an important player for all of us on and off the field. And just similar to Gabby, we don't want to push it. We have to make sure that when we bring them in, there's no setbacks, and that they can stay healthy and they can be influential for us right away. So hopefully, again, just like Uzo and Gallardo, hopefully Emmy is in return to train with the full squad on Monday.
With a player like Emmy, we've seen him play a lot of different spots. When he gets back to being fully fit, you've been able to use so many different guys in so many different places this year. Where do you see him best fitting in?
I think Emmy, his best spot is a number 10. Is a number 10 spot. That's where he got drafted as one of the most I'll say influential players in the year of the draft and his combine. He ended up in a very good team and a good spot, and that was playing that position. Then he started drifting and changing to playing on wide areas and other stuff because of the teams that he ended up either in MLS or in the USL. With us, thankfully, we play with 1 or 2 10s, and that's a position that he can really excel at. And I think he proved it in the preseason and the games that he's played. And also his versatility is key and important for us. So as a 10 is where I see him excelling for us.
As a manager, being able to integrate the academy, we got to see Liam make his debut on Saturday. How's that been for you to see all these academy players come through and train with you guys and now get to throw a couple out there into the woods?
It's very important, and it speaks about the reality that we want to create over here in the organization. It speaks about the importance that it is for us to have healthy depth in the squad with young guys that first have to earn the opportunity to be here, and then they have to earn the opportunity and the responsibility that it is to play. And you saw our academy players they were in a big tournament this weekend. They won their 3 games, which was key for us. Liam played for us on Saturday night, and he flies on Sunday early morning, and he participates in the last 2 games. Now you see him training today alongside Santi. That's the other academy signing from Phoenix from us. So it's important. It speaks high volumes of the massive work that they're doing in the academy system. I think Chappie and Chris and all the coaching staff are doing a very, very good job. First of all, planting seeds and then identifying talent that can translate to the first squad.
What's the challenge for you when some of those academy kids, you get a summer with them, you get a spring with them, and then they have to go and leave? Because I think Liam's committed to DePaul, so
yes.
You've got all these kids that are just going to train with you for 4 or 5 months, and then as soon as you might have them up to speed, they're off playing college and you can't use them anymore.
Yes, correct. So it has some positives, also some stuff that is not so positives, but there's more positives than negatives, right? At the end of the day, Liam is training with us, but we're delivering a clear message to the academy that we're watching, that the guys that are excelling at that level are going to end up with us. So now our job is to identify who are the next ones, and not just from the 19s, but it's from the 15s, right? Who are the guys that in a year and a half can be with us, and how can we keep developing that talent, and also then creating a filter of players that want to go to the pro level. So filter of players that want to go to college, and it's very different, right? And we have to make sure that we identify those, and not just within our academy, like I've always said, in the whole state. Is creating partnerships and creating strong bridges that we can develop talent, and then we can all help each other.
These last couple of games, we've seen Carlos Harvey play in some different positions. How important is his versatility to this squad?
Oh, it's key. I was going to try him as a goalkeeper to see what you were going to say today, just to mess with you guys for a bit. But no, he's so versatile. He's important for us. He's very influential, and that was one of the key pieces. We said this multiple times to you and to you guys when we're building the roster and when we're going through the process of building the squad. One of the most important things for us is it was versatility within the game model. Having the possibility to have players that could play multiple positions without us, with giving us the possibility not to lose our idea and identity, and that's what we've done. And Carlos is a clear example of one of those. He could play multiple positions, but not just be standing in a multiple positions, be influential in a different spot of the field. And that's what we want to keep creating moving forward.
You guys had a lot of success in transitional moments against Hartford. It's kind of been a theme of the season. Can you tell me a little bit about your philosophy as a coach in those transitions and how you guys approach those?
Yeah, to be honest, I still think we have to get a lot better in transition moments. I agree with what you said at moments. I mean, we created some transitions and we try to exploit them. I think it happened versus Loudoun as well in 2 of the goals that we scored. But also transitions are created when the opponent either you're pressing or you're stealing a ball and then you could go at people. There's a turnover, and if a team is trying to play direct, it's very hard to create transition moments moving forward. And Loudoun was a team that was building out of the back constantly, so we were able to do that. And then Hartford tried it a few times, they were not successful, and then they started going long. But then our line was pretty high, our block was compact, and they were also not really being successful in those moments. So it was kind of like a weird game in which at times we were pressing, we're winning, and then other times they were going long. So it's not like they stuck to something. For us, we keep thinking of us. I think we've done okay in those transition moments, but we have to still be a lot better. It's not just stealing the ball, it's then what happens when you're driving out a back line. I want to make sure that those transition moments, the play always finishes. It has to finish in a corner, in a goal kick, or it has to finish in a goal. But those moments need to finish. We cannot go in a transition moment and then steal the ball and make it a transition moment to the other end. That's what we want to try to avoid.
As a coach, how do you get the team to be better in those moments?
Well, we have to work on it. We have to work on it a lot. We have to make sure that we can recreate training activities that are designed within the game model, and we can recreate scenarios that are trends during games, especially versus teams that we're playing, and working on them and finding repetition. I've said to you guys for a while now, is you give them the information in there. When you watch video, that information becomes knowledge for them. Then we come to the field in training, we test that information and the knowledge that they have now, and then you have to make sure that you can execute then what you're testing, and then we try to execute on game days. So it's a full circle of a lot of things that need to happen in order for improvement and development to show, and it's a full circle for us as coaches that every Monday it repeats.
Are there any specific areas of growth as far as knowledge goes you'd like to see out of your team here in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, we want to keep making sure that we can control games in a way that we have the ball, that we keep possession, but also how much are we creating with that possession that we're having. If we're going to have the ball for 60-70% of the game, I want to make sure that we're being aggressive, we're being intense, and that possession is leading to chances created in the opponent's half. So it's pretty much having the ball to control the game, to create spaces between lines, and then what are we doing with those spaces? Can we go forward? Can we accelerate? Can we finish with a shot? Can we win a foul top of the box? Can we create corners? That's what I want, and I want those actions to finish. I want to try to avoid transition moments as much as possible, because I think we're playing in one of the most transitional leagues on the planet. The USL Championship is such a transitional league, and it's tough. If you're not finishing your chances and you make it a foot race, there's teams that are very athletic, that are very fast. We're not built to do that, so we have to make sure that those chances get finished.
And then the news of the women's team this week, how does that help with just soccer's influence here in Arizona? What does that do to have another team here?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. I'm so happy and grateful and thankful that our ownership group is giving an opportunity to so many women in the state of Arizona. So it's a clear message of what the organization wants to build. It's a clear message of how much this organization is investing and focusing in the community, and it's a great opportunity for us on the women's side to keep growing together.
You look at Orange County, of course, one of the first names that's going to come up is Milana Losky, but who else do you think over there is notable player-wise? They have a lot of players. They have a lot of players that I think when we watch them, right, and when you're watching a team and you said, this is a team that you can identify a lot of good players, but collectively they're struggling at times. It's a team that individually, if you go name by name, it's a team that has a lot of depth. I don't really like to talk individually about the opposition, because then they watch this and they get motivated. But I'm telling you, it's a team that has a lot of good players. It's a team that has a lot of good players that collectively they're struggling. Milan is a He's a player that's been proven to score a lot of goals in this league. There's a player that sometimes he's not very active or he's not participating, but you got to give him only, one or two chances, and he will make sure to punish you in one of them. Also is a player that enjoys transitions and space. So this is why it's so important for us, as you guys watch in the training session, let's finish our chances, let's finish the play, so we avoid those transition moments that we got to defend in 40, 50, 60 yards. So it's the importance of being able to go to Orange County and don't lose our idea, to don't lose our identity, to control the game within possession, to keep the spaces tight, to attack with a lot of numbers, and most importantly, avoid those transition moments. I think Orange County is a team that when you watch them, they want to build out of the back. They're playing with a lot of players that want to keep the ball, possession-based players. They're technically very clean, and we'll see if they keep that identity and that behavior versus us. And if they do, we'll go over there to try to do what we can to come back with 3 points.
So have you seen any real changes then since Richard departed?
Well, the past games they've played in a 4-3-3 and in a possession-based squad, but they also are not afraid if they're under press to play balls behind. They have two wingers that can create problems with time and space, and they have a number 9 that has a very good hold-up play. So we're going to have to try to interrupt their build-up moments as much as we can to try to put them under pressure. But also then it's important, what are we doing when we have the ball? I told you last game, is there something that I've learned and I keep growing as a coach, is that you understand that in this league you're not going to be able to control 100% of the games. And when we do game plans or when we do analysis, is that okay, what are we doing when we're controlling the game, but also how are our behaviors in those percentages that you're not controlling the game? Because you're going to go to Orange County and I'm going to tell you we're not going to be able to control 100% of the game. We want to and we will try it, but we're not going to be able to. So it's what are we doing in those moments we're going to have to deep defend? What are we doing when we're defending set pieces? How we defend transitions? And I think that percentage that is going to be less than the one we controlled is going to be the one that is going to dictate if we're going to be able to come back with 3 points or not.
And yeah, when you look at the next two games, you're playing the two teams at the bottom of the West. How critical is it that you get 6 points out of 6?
Every game is critical. When I look at whoever's at top or whoever's at last, I don't plan the week thinking that they're on top or they're at last. We plan each week the same way. And in the position that we are right now, regardless you're playing the team that is last or the team that is up, you need 3 points. That's what we want. We want to keep winning. I told you at the beginning of the month, this was an important month for us. Obviously respecting all the opposition, but there's teams that the reality is that they're not going through very good moments. But this is the USL Championship. This is a team that, let's see what Charleston does next week. This is we know about this already, and we cannot be the team that gets burned thinking that this team is not doing well and it's going to be an easy game. There's no easy games in this league. If you're not tuned in, if you're not ready to play, you can pay the price for that. And that is one of the biggest things that I want to see this week is, can we keep growing? Can we keep finding consistency in the way that we're doing things? And also, can we start winning games back to back? Because that's going to dictate also how high in the table we're going to end up in November.
Speaking of Charleston, with that 7-0 result over the weekend, what was your reaction to that when you saw it?
I'm very close to Ben, so obviously I texted him right away, and not just the day of the game, I talked to him yesterday as well. It's a coach that I respect a lot. In my opinion, he's one of the best coaches in this league. It was proven last year, and it's proven to everything he's done this week. He just speaks about the reality of this league. It's a tough league. It's not easy, and it's one day that you're just not tuned in. It's one day that you're just not ready, and the opposition is, and it pays a price. So it's a league that you don't get a break. You don't get a physical or a mental break since January 14th, 15th, or 20th that we started, all the way to November, to the last of November. So it's very demanding. It's not easy, and this is why you have to make sure that you can build teams that can sustain those amounts of pressure and the amount of loads, mental loads and physical loads for a long period of time. And it's also how can you find that consistency from March to November. Teams that do that usually are successful in the championship. Teams that have too many high peaks and low peaks end up struggling and suffering through the whole year. So that's for us the most important thing, finding that consistency mentally and physically, and also how we can put performances together on the field that give us a consistency that we see the same team week in and week out. If you do that the way we played last game and the way we want to do things over a period of 34 matches, you should end up winning more than what you lose.
Is a scoreline like that something that you can use, maybe not as motivation, but more information for your players to that message? If you have to be consistent, you have to show up every day and every week?
Yeah, and they know this. Our players understand what this league is, and sadly, I mean, not 2 weeks ago, I don't like utilizing other teams as examples, but it's also very good to learn from others' mistakes, even though that doesn't happen often. You learn from your own mistakes most likely, and that happened to us in Florida 2 weeks ago. And like I said, I hope that we've learned from that. We keep pushing, we keep training. I told you guys after the game that we're going to be pushing in training this week, and as you guys can see, we're not going to put our foot off the pedal, and we have to keep going, we have to keep pushing. We're not where we want to be yet, but the team is cleared on an ascending curve, and we have to make sure that we can keep improving.
Going back to what you said about the transitional moments earlier, is that really a fun challenge for the coaching staff to try and profile the right players into the right spots, maybe dropping Jose Andres deeper to be better in possession or different things like that?
Yes, it is. It is a fun challenge. It's demanding. It's the coaching staff in that locker room challenging each other with ideas and in ways that you can hurt the opposition, but you can also protect yourself. I think in the past 3 games we've done things differently tactically in each match. Just Loudoun, Tampa, and Hartford. So now you guys know that we have the flexibility to not just change personnel, but also be flexible in tactical ways. We've been able to press in a 5-4-1, we press in a 4-4-2, we press in a 4-1-4-1, and this is only with 8-9 games in. So the more this team plays together, once we reach the 23, the 25 games together, is where we're going to see the reality of our full strength. Also, this has all been done with a lot of injuries and a lot of change from week to week and adaptation. And again, once we find that consistency of personnel, that everybody's available, and then games and then performances, I think we're going to see the reality of where we are and who we are.